Joseph Bailly. Joseph Alexis Bailly, January 21, 1823 or 1825, June 15, 1883, was an American sculptor who spent most of his career in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He taught briefly at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, which has a collection of his sculpture. His most famous work is the statue of George Washington in front of Independence Hall. Biography. The son of a Parisian cabinet maker, Bailly attended the École des Beaux-Arts before being drafted into the army during the Revolution of 1848. He assaulted an officer, deserted, and fled to England, where he studied briefly under the sculptor Edward Hodges Bailly, a relation. After traveling to the United States and Argentina, he settled in Philadelphia in 1850. Bailly worked as a furniture carver before establishing a sculpture studio with Charles Busher in 1854. Their first major commission was for the interior ornament and furniture of the new Masonic Hall at 713-21 Chestnut Street in Philadelphia, 1855, burned 1886. This included 6 life-size painted wood statues illustrating the female Masonic virtues. The statues and furniture were moved to the current Philadelphia Masonic Temple at Broad and Filbert Streets when it opened in 1873. That was followed by the commission for the interior ornament of Philadelphia's Opera House, the Academy of Music, 1855-57. At the U.S. Capitol, Bailly designed the monumental clock for the United States House of Representatives Chamber, 1858, and carved its wooden case. Sculptor William Henry Reinhardt designed the flanking bronze figures of the backwoodsman and the Indian. Furniture makers Bemb and Kimball manufactured the clock and gilded the whole piece. It was removed from the House chamber in 1950 and is now on display in the Capitol's crypt. One of his most accomplished works is a marble sculpture group Paradise Lost, 1863-68, depicting Adam and Eve ruminating on their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Its companion piece, First Prayer, 1864-68, shows Eve teaching their small children, Cain and Abel. Both works were commissioned by Henry Celsus Gibson and are at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. His giant marble of Benjamin Franklin, 1868, was installed on the corner of the Public Ledger Building's facade, and 250 feet away, his marble statue of George Washington, 1869, stood before Independence Hall. Bailly carved a number of funerary memorials, including that of the artist William M. Lencrest in 1869 at Laurel Hill Cemetery, which showed the young painter holding his brush and palette now missing. In the 1870s, the United States Mint in Philadelphia commissioned him to carve coin dies for U.S. trade dollars, coins with a higher silver content than regular U.S. silver dollars for use in international trade, especially with China, Japan, and Korea. The surviving coin dies are unsigned, but design and slash or carving of at least 3 of them are attributed to Bailly. He exhibited at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts beginning in 1851, was elected an academician by Poffer in 1860, and taught there during the American Civil War. Hired to teach at Poffer in 1876, he resigned 2 years later in a salary dispute, and Thomas Eakins took over his modeling class. The non-his students were Howard Roberts, John J. Boyle, and Alexander Milne Calder, whose submission for the colossal statue of William Penn atop Philadelphia City Hall was selected over Bailly's. He exhibited several works at the 1876 Centennial Exposition, including the plaster model for an equestrian statue of Venezuela's president, Antonio Guzman Blanco. Bailly died in Philadelphia in 1883. He was buried at Mount Peace Cemetery. Philadelphia newspaper The Times published an obituary. Joseph Bailly, the well-known sculptor, died on Friday at his residence at the corner of Hutton and Preston Streets. He was born in Paris, January 21, 1825, and came to this country shortly after the Revolution of 1848. He has been a resident of Philadelphia for many years, and his memory will be preserved by many public statues here and elsewhere. Among these may be mentioned the figure of Franklin made for the Market House on 10th Street and now in front of the Ledger Building, the Washington in front of Independence Hall, the statue of Witherspoon in the park, and the emblematic figure pointing to the clock on Bailly's old store on Chestnut Street, above 8. This was one of his first statues, most of his previous work having been confined to architectural decoration, as in the fine caryatides than the proscenium of the Academy of Music. Still larger works elsewhere are the equestrian statue of General Rollins at Washington, and that of General Blanco, ex-president of Venezuela, at Caracas. He was a rapid worker and may be said to have won success in his profession, and among the very small number of resident sculptors he will be missed. Major works: Beauty, Wisdom, Faith, Hope, Charity, Strength, 1855, painted wood, Philadelphia Masonic Temple, Paradise Lost, 1863-68, marble, Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Philadelphia. Commissioned by Henry Celsus Gibson, First Prayer, 1864-68, marble, Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Philadelphia. Commissioned by Henry Celsus Didson. George Washington, 1869, marble, Independence Hall, Philadelphia. This was replaced by a bronze replica in 1910. The marble original is on display at Philadelphia City Hall. General genre: Rollins 1872-74, bronze, Rollins Park, 18th and East Streets, NW, Washington, District of Columbia. Equestrian statue of President Antonio Guzman Blanco, 1875-79, bronze, installed in Caracas, Venezuela in 1880. Reverend John Witherspoon, 1876, bronze, West Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. Flute player, year, white marble, Woodmere Art Museum, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Echo, year, white marble, Woodmere Art Museum, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Val Bailey statues, JPG Hope and Faith, 1855, Philadelphia Masonic Temple, Philadelphia. File log Yamanis 18, JPG Wisdom, 1855, Philadelphia Masonic Temple, Philadelphia. File Washington Indy Hall, JPG George Washington Original Marble, 1869, bronze replica 1910, Independence Hall, Philadelphia. File statue, Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts Lobby and Atrium, JPG Paradise Lost, 1863-68, Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Philadelphia. File statue in Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts Lobby and Atrium, JPG First Prayer, 1864-68, Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Philadelphia. File statue at Rollins Park, JPG General genre, Rollins 1872-74, Rollins Park, Washington, District of Columbia. File Witherspoon Art Center, JPG Reverend John Witherspoon, 1876, West Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. Architecture or sculpture: New Masonic Hall, interior ornament and furniture, 1855, burned 1886, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with Charles Busker. Bailey and Busker created the interior ornament and furniture. The Gothic room furniture survives at the current Philadelphia Masonic Temple. Academy of Music, interior ornament, 1855-57, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with Charles Busker. U.S. Capitol, monumental clock, House of Representatives Chamber, 1858, Washington, D.C., with William Henry Reinhardt. Bailey designed the clock and carved its wooden case. It is now on display in the Capitol's crypt. Benjamin Franklin, 1860, marble, created for facade of the Franklin Market, 10th and Ludlow, SES. L. Installed on facade of the Public Ledger Building, 6th and Chestnut, SDS. At Philadelphia. Now displayed in the current Public Ledger Building's lobby. File New Masonic Hall, interior, 1855, JPG Grand Lodge Room of the New Masonic Hall, Chestnut Street, Philadelphia, 1855, burned 1886. File Philadelphia Academy of Music, interior, JPG Music and Poetry above relief bust of Mozart, 1857, Academy of Music, Philadelphia. File Cortland V.D. Hubbard, photographer, November 1967. Stage boxes, organ parts taken from Oblique Angle, American Academy of Music, 232-246 South Broad Street, Philadelphia. Hat Par 51 Fila, 294-10. TIFF stage boxes, 1857, Academy of Music, Philadelphia. File Monumental Clock Design, JPG % 7C Monumental Clock, House of Representatives Chamber, U.S. Capitol, Washington, District of Columbia, 1858. File Benjamin Franklin by Joseph Bailey, 1860, JPG Benjamin Franklin, 1860, created for Franklin Market. Installed on facade of Public Ledger Building, second story corner, 1869. Funeral sculpture: General Francis East. Patterson Monument C, 1868, marble, Laurel Hill Cemetery, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. William M. Len Crescent Monument, 1869, bronze, Laurel Hill Cemetery, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. William Fahrenheit. Hughes Monument, 1871, bronze, Laurel Hill Cemetery, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. File Patterson Monument, L.H. Philly. JPG Patterson Monument C, 1868, Laurel Hill Cemetery, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. File Joseph Alexis Bailey's 1825-1883 seated statue of William Fahrenheit. Hughes, 1807-71, Laurel Hill Cemetery. JPG Hughes Monument, 1871, Laurel Hill Cemetery, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Other works: sideboard with carving attributed to Bailey C, 1855, Cleveland Museum of Art, Cleveland, Ohio. Bust of Abraham Lincoln, 1865, metal alloy, mass-produced after the president's assassination. Relief portrait bust of William and Len Crescent, 1866, Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1873, United States trade dollar attributed bust of Benjamin Hallowell C, 1877, plaster, Smithsonian American Art Museum, Washington, D.C. File walnut sideboard attributed to Joseph Alexis Bailey C, 1855. JPG sideboard with carving attributed to Bailey C, 1855, Cleveland Museum of Art, Cleveland, Ohio. File 1873, U.S. trade dollar, JPG 1873, United States trade dollar. Design and carving attributed to Bailey.